One thing that's really great about robotics is that you get to see what you did. I mean, I guess maybe everybody wants to have a little army of slaves doing everything they tell them to do, right? I mean, you tell the robot to walk in a certain way, and when that works, you get to see it do that, and that's somehow much more affirming than, watching your program like give the right line of text as output or something like that.
Well, the overall goal of the project on the highest level is to program a group of robots in 50 years or by 2050 to beat the champion human World Cup team. Our project right here is just to get a bunch of robotic dogs to play soccer and to do interesting research while we're at it.
So I've been involved in the International Robot Soccer Initiative, known as RoboCup, since the beginning, back in about 1996. This has now turned into a very large international initiative involving, I'd say, over 3,000 or 4,000 researchers worldwide. Our project started last January, and we had a first version of everything working by about the middle of April. But this was probably the quickest it's ever been done. This was started as a class with 19 graduate students involved, and they all worked very hard to get a complete solution within those few months.
The software that controls whether it's playing offense or defense is all stuff that we've coded up, various different criteria and decision-making kind of things.
The first thing we try to do is we try to get it to score on a goal. That's actually very hard. First you try to make it walk, and have some sort of kick kind of thing, be able to find the ball. Then you start working on having the multiple robots cooperate. So instead of just having 4 individuals go right to the ball and run into each other on the way there, you have them sort of decide among themselves who's going to go toward the ball, who's going to get near the ball but not go right to it.
And every year we take our team to an international competition and work against other people around the world who have been working in exactly the same domain in a head-to-head format, so that we can compare our results and compare notes and learn from each other.
The overall sense of the game is a large crowd of people clustered around a tiny field, and all these people are screaming like mad at a bunch of little robotic dogs that are all piled up trying to get a ball into a goal. And the games themselves are usually pretty exciting too, because you never know what a team's going to come up with. Like last year, the German team came up with a pretty cool kick where they actually grabbed the ball and threw it over their head backwards.
Once the dogs start playing, we don't have any say at all about what they do. They're just out there, and sometimes we're watching them and we're like, no, don't do that. There's nothing we can do.
One of the goals of our research is to allow the robots to adapt or to learn to change their behavior as they go during the course of a game. And one of the big successes we have right now is that the robots have learned to walk much more quickly than we were able to hand code.
What we did is we had a couple robots on the field, and they just ran back and forth across the field over and over and over, and they timed themselves as they went. So they're like, okay, I crossed the field in 2 seconds. That was really good. I crossed the field in 30 minutes. That was bad. Sometimes you'd come in here at night and the robots would be training. They're just pacing back and forth across the field. They would learn basically what walks were fast and what walks weren't fast. We got a really good result. It was 291 millimeters per second, so at the time was the fastest walk known for an IBO.
The goal of having robots beat the best World Cup soccer team on a real soccer field is not in and of itself necessarily a benefit to society, unless you take the entertainment perspective. But in order to achieve this goal, there's many basic spin-off technologies that will be necessary, and there'll be things that apply to many real-world tasks. Perhaps someday eliminating the need for traffic lights because the cars can negotiate among themselves as they approach intersections. There's a direct application of some of the work in a disaster rescue scenario where the idea is that robots are helping people rescue victims of natural disasters such as earthquakes. The basic issues that we're examining in this robot soccer domain are going to speak to that.
It's an interesting thing, it's kind of a new take on lots of the classic problems of AI. It's a new way to look at them.
It's very addictive work. That's the thing about robotics. People either don't like it at all or just get so into it that they're really wanting to finish all their other work so they can get into the lab and work on the robots some more. And that's sort of what happened to me.